Ever wondered how a web application is designed? Well, it's a fascinating process that blends creativity with functionality, aesthetics with usability. At the heart of it all is web application design, a discipline focused on creating engaging and effective web environments. It's a multifaceted process involving several key areas. Firstly, we have user interface design, or UI, which deals with the look and feel of the application. This includes the layout, typography, colors, and images that create a visually appealing and intuitive experience. Then there's user experience design, or UX, which is all about the user's journey through the application. It emphasizes wireframing, responsiveness, consistency, and feedback mechanisms to ensure smooth and intuitive interactions. Interactivity and dynamic elements add a layer of engagement, while performance optimization ensures the application runs smoothly and efficiently. And let's not forget about accessibility, making sure the web application is user-friendly for all individuals. So, ready to dive into the fascinating process of web application design? Let's get started with user interface design. The first step in web application design is crafting the user interface. The user interface, or UI, is the visual and interactive layer of an application. It's the part of the application that users interact with, and it plays a fundamental role in the overall user experience. Firstly, we have the layout and structure. This involves defining the overall structure of the web application, including the placement of headers, footers, navigation bars, and content areas. A grid system is often used to ensure consistency and alignment of elements. The aim is to provide a clear, intuitive structure that users can easily navigate. Speaking of navigation, this is another key aspect of UI design. An intuitive navigation system allows users to easily move between different sections of the application. This involves designing a clear navigation menu, breadcrumbs, and calls to action that guide users through the application. Then we have typography. The choice of fonts for headings and body text is important for readability and consistency. Different font weights and styles can be used to emphasize important information and create hierarchy within the content. Next, let's discuss color schemes. The colors used in a web application are not just about aesthetics. They should align with the brand identity and provide a visually appealing experience. It's also important to consider color psychology and accessibility principles when selecting colors. Finally, we have images and icons. High-quality images and icons can greatly enhance the visual appeal of a web application. However, it's crucial to optimize these images for fast loading times and ensure they complement the overall design. So those are the 5 key elements of user interface design: layout and structure, navigation, typography, color scheme, and images icons. Each of these elements plays a pivotal role in the overall user experience, and getting them right is crucial to the success of any web application. Remember, a well-designed UI is crucial for a successful web application. Now let's move on to user experience design. User experience design is where the magic happens. In this enchanting realm, 4 key aspects shape the user's journey: wireframing and prototyping, responsive design, consistency, and feedback or error handling. Let's take a moment to appreciate the humble wireframe. This basic skeletal outline of each screen is the unsung hero of our design process. It's here, in these simple sketches, where we start to breathe life into our web application, sketching out the structure and layout. As we progress, these wireframes evolve into interactive prototypes, allowing us to simulate user flows and interactions. It's like having a rehearsal before the grand performance. Next, we have the responsive design. It's a world constantly on the move, with screens of all sizes, from the smallest smartphone to the largest desktop monitor. Our web application needs to adapt and look stunning on all of them. This is where responsive design comes in, ensuring our application is not just a chameleon, but a beautiful one at that. We use media queries to apply styles for different breakpoints, ensuring our application is as versatile as it is visually appealing. Then we come to consistency, the thread that weaves everything together. Consistency in design elements like buttons, forms, and color usage contributes to a cohesive and user-friendly experience. It's like a symphony, where every instrument plays its part to create a harmonious whole. Finally, we have feedback and error handling. Imagine if you were having a conversation and the other person just stared blankly at you, giving no indication they understood. Frustrating, right? That's why we implement feedback mechanisms for user actions like form submissions or button clicks. And if something goes wrong, we design clear error messages to guide users on how to resolve issues. It's our way of ensuring that the conversation between the user and the application is always flowing smoothly. With a strong UX design, your web application will not only look good, but also function smoothly. Next, we'll look at interactivity and dynamic elements. Interactivity is the soul of a web application. It's what makes static pages come alive, transforming them into dynamic, engaging experiences. And how do we achieve this? Through three key elements: client-side scripting with JavaScript, forms and validation, and animations or transitions. Let's start with client-side scripting, with JavaScript being the language of choice for many web designers. JavaScript empowers you to enhance interactivity and create dynamic elements. It allows you to manipulate the document object model, or DOM, enabling you to change content, layout, and even styles on the fly. Take Ajax, for instance. This technique allows you to load data asynchronously, meaning that users don't need to wait for a whole page reload to see new content. This not only improves the user experience, but also makes your web application feel faster and more responsive. Next, we have forms and validation. Forms are the gateways for user interaction on your site. They are essential for tasks like user registration, feedback submission, or even a simple search. But designing forms goes beyond just arranging fields and buttons. It's about making them user-friendly, with clear labels and appropriate input fields. But what's equally important is form validation. This is where you provide real-time feedback on user input, helping users correct errors as they type, and not after they hit the submit button. This creates a smoother, more intuitive user experience. Finally, let's talk about animations and transitions. These are not just for show. Used wisely, they can greatly improve the overall user experience. Animations can draw attention to important elements, guide users through processes, or simply add a touch of delight to the user journey. But remember, subtlety is key. Overdoing animations can be distracting and even annoying to some users. By adding interactivity and dynamic elements, you can create a more engaging and memorable user experience. These elements breathe life into your web application, making it not just a tool, but an experience. Now let's talk about performance optimization. Performance is a critical factor in the success of a web application. Let's delve into the two key aspects of performance optimization: loading speed and caching. Firstly, loading speed. It's the time it takes for a page to fully display its content. If a web application takes too long to load, users may lose patience and leave, which is why it's essential to optimize images, scripts, and style sheets. One technique is implementing lazy loading, which loads images only as they are needed, rather than all at once. Another is loading scripts asynchronously, which means they run in the background and don't slow down the initial page load. Now let's move on to caching. Caching is like a web application's memory. It allows a browser to store static assets, like images or style sheets, so it doesn't have to download them every time a user visits. How can you implement caching in your web application? One way is to utilize browser caching. This instructs the browser to keep certain files in its cache for a specified period. Another method is using content delivery networks, or CDNs for short. CDNs distribute your content across a network of servers worldwide, ensuring that it reaches your users more quickly. Optimizing performance ensures that your web application runs smoothly and efficiently. Finally, let's discuss accessibility. Accessibility is about making your web application usable by everyone. Diving headfirst into this, let's talk about semantic HTML. This isn't just a buzzword, it's the backbone of web accessibility. By using HTML elements like, and you're giving your content a meaningful structure. These elements are like signposts that guide search engines and assistive technologies through your site. It's like giving them a roadmap to your content, making it easier for everyone to understand. Now let's move on to keyboard navigation. Not everyone uses a mouse to surf the web. Some people rely on their keyboard. So designing your site to be navigable using just a keyboard is a must. This means ensuring all interactive elements receive focus in an order that makes sense. By doing this, you're creating a smoother, more accessible experience for users who rely on their keyboard. Finally, we have alt text for images. This is a short description that provides context for users who can't see the image. It's like painting a picture with words. If an image doesn't load or a user has visual impairments and uses a screen reader, the alt text will be their guide. By prioritizing accessibility, you make your web application more inclusive and user-friendly. Now let's recap what we've learned. So, what does it take to design a web application? It's about understanding the balance between 5 key areas. First, user interface design, which involves careful planning of layout, typography, color schemes, and the use of images and icons. Next is user experience design, which includes wireframing, ensuring responsiveness, maintaining consistency, and effective feedback and error handling. Thirdly, we have interactivity and dynamic elements, where we utilize JavaScript for interactivity, design user-friendly forms, and use animations to enhance user experience. Then comes performance optimization, focusing on improving loading speed, optimizing resources, and utilizing caching techniques. Lastly, we touch on accessibility, ensuring we use semantic HTML, provide keyboard navigation, and include descriptive alt text for images. Each of these elements plays a vital role in creating a cohesive, user-friendly, and efficient web application. Remember, designing a web application is a complex process, but with these steps, you're well on your way to creating a successful web application. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.